The young man had one question. He had carried it for almost 10 years. And when he finally reached the mountain temple, he thought the old Zen master would give him the answer. Instead, the master refused to answer. The young man's name was Arin. He was 28 years old, educated, hardworking, and completely lost. He had tried 3 different careers. None of them worked. He had started businesses. They failed. He had made plans for his future. Most of them had fallen apart. And now, every morning, he woke up with the same thought. What am I supposed to do with my life? He asked friends. They gave advice. He watched motivational videos. He made new plans. He read books. But the question remained. So one winter morning, Arin climbed a mountain to meet an old Zen master named Ren. People said Master Ren could see through a person's confusion in a single conversation. When Arin finally reached the temple, the old master was sitting beside a small fire. Arin bowed. Master, I need your help. The master poured tea into a cup. What is your question? Arin took a deep breath. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with my life. The master looked at him, then asked, What do you want to do? I don't know. What are you good at? I don't know. What are you afraid of? Arin hesitated. Wasting my life. The master nodded. Then he said, Good. Arin looked confused. Good? Yes. You're not afraid because you have no path. The master paused. You're afraid because you believe you should already know the entire path. Arin didn't understand. The master picked up a small candle. Walk with me. They left the temple and walked toward the forest. The sun was disappearing behind the mountains. After a few minutes, they reached a narrow path. The master lit the candle and handed it to Arin. Walk. Arin looked at the tiny flame. But master, I can't see where the path ends. I didn't ask you to see the end. Arin looked ahead. The darkness was thick. I can only see a few steps. The master smiled. Then take those steps. Arin walked. A few steps later, the candle illuminated a little more of the path. He continued. Another few steps. More of the path appeared. After a while, Arin stopped. Master? Yes? I understand. The master waited. Arin looked at the candle. I kept waiting for someone to show me the whole road. The master nodded. But life doesn't work that way. The master smiled. Exactly. You wanted certainty before movement. Arin remained silent. The master continued. But certainty usually comes after movement. That sentence stayed with Arin. For years he had been waiting to know the perfect career, waiting to know the perfect decision, waiting to feel confident, waiting for a sign, waiting until he could guarantee that his next step would lead somewhere worthwhile. And because he couldn't guarantee it, he didn't move. The master pointed toward the dark forest. Do you know what is interesting about this path? Arin shook his head. You cannot see where it ends. Then how do you know you're going in the right direction? The master smiled. You don't? Arin looked surprised. You don't? No. Then how can you walk? The master held up the candle. Because you don't need enough light for the entire journey. He looked at Arin. You only need enough light for the next step. Arin stood quietly. Then he asked, But what if I choose the wrong path? The master smiled. Then you will learn something the right path could never teach you. Arin looked down. And what if I fail? The master replied, Then you will know one more way not to walk. And what if I waste years? The master became quiet for a moment. Then he said, The greater waste is spending years standing still because you are afraid of choosing incorrectly. Those words hit Arin harder than anything else that night. He suddenly realized. He had been calling it planning, but much of it was fear. He wasn't preparing for his future. He was trying to eliminate uncertainty before beginning it, and that was impossible. The master handed the candle back to him. Go home. Arin looked surprised. That's it? The master smiled. You came here asking me what to do with your life. Yes, I could give you an answer. Arin waited. But then you would spend the rest of your life following my answer. The master pointed toward the mountain path. I would rather teach you how to find your own. Arin bowed. Before leaving, he asked one final question. Master, what if I still don't know what I'm doing tomorrow? The old man smiled. Then do something meaningful today. Arin walked down the mountain. He still didn't know exactly what his life would become. He didn't know which career would work. He didn't know which plans would succeed. He didn't know where the road would eventually lead. But for the first time, he wasn't terrified by that, because he finally understood something. You don't need a perfect plan to begin. You don't need to know the destination to take the next step. And you don't need certainty to move forward. Sometimes you only need enough courage to take the next step. So if you're currently confused about your life, if you're waiting for the perfect opportunity, the perfect plan, or the perfect moment, remember the candle. It won't show you the entire road. It doesn't have to. It only needs to show you enough for the next step. Take that step, then another. And eventually, you may look back and realize the path wasn't something you were supposed to find. It was something you were supposed to create. And maybe that's what life was asking from you all along.